Good afternoon, LEC community. I think I'm getting better at this like tech stuff. And of course, we are almost finished with our virtual career fair. We are so lucky because we are bringing in Dr. Shippy with Hogan Schools. So let's give it a second and we will all be in one room. Hi, Dr. Shippy, how are you?
Hello, I'm great. How are you doing?
Good, good. Let me
Good.
make sure, or I'm gonna have to re-go live. I'm not sure why this keeps happening, but give me a second. How's it going? How's your Friday going?
How's my Friday? Well, it's not what I planned for today. A lot of unanticipated things have popped up. Like I was just on the phone and I said, okay, I got to get off of here.
I gotta get on this thing. Yeah.
That's right.
Yes. So let me set this. I don't know why it has now done this twice to me this afternoon. I think it's because it's Friday and it's raining.
Yeah, maybe so.
And this has been going all day. And of course, in the last hour and a half, I've now had to do it, like reset it up in the background twice. So it's gonna get there. Awesome. Well, hello again, LEC community. For some reason, our technology here in the last 2 hours, either Facebook is like, please stop. Your live video has now been like 7 hours long, or I'm doing something. But luckily, we are now here with Dr. Shippy from Hogan. Dr. Shippy, how are you?
Good, I'm good.
Good.
I had my grandson in the other room. He popped over, so hopefully we won't be distracted by him.
How old is he?
He's 5. He just had a birthday this week.
Oh, he's a little one. Well, thanks for being with us despite being busy today. We would love to hear about Hogan Schools. We are, of course, my dogs now decide they want to play at this time. We are live on social media, just telling our community all about the opportunities that are available for the 2021-2022 school year. You all provided us a PowerPoint, so I will just kind of be your slide mover and you let me know when you're ready to go on to the next slide.
Okay, well, why don't I start before you start going through the slide deck? Let me tell you a little bit about myself and then we can go through the slide deck, okay? Just to introduce myself, I'm Dr. Tanya Shippy and I'm Chief Operations Officer at Hogan. So I'm completing my 39th year in education as a teacher, as an elementary principal, as an assistant superintendent of human resources, and now here at Hogan as the Chief Operations Officer. So most of my instructional or most of my background is traditional public education, but I've spent the last 5 years at Hogan as a public charter school. So let me give a little intro to Hogan and then we can kind of go through that slide deck. So Hogan is a pre-K through 12th grade school. We have 3 buildings. We have an elementary, a middle, and a high school. And our pre-K students actually attend school at Operation Breakthrough. So those students and their families have access to many services and supports through Operation Breakthrough, which is why we partnered with them. Hogan has been transforming the last couple of years. So if you were on this last year, you would have heard some, but about that transformation. But now, as we go through the slide deck, you'll get a better idea of what I was trying to express, because I have a better idea of where we're going. Our focus in what we did, a couple of years ago, we had basically all new building and district leadership, and we're focused now on personalized and real world learning. So our goal is for our students to graduate with at least one market value asset, whether that would be college credits for those that are college bound, or some sort of industry recognized credential or certificate of some sort if our students are career bound right out of high school. Either way, our students are going to be prepared. So anyway, if you want to go ahead and kind of flip through that, I can expand on that. You know, Hogan, this is just an intro of our background. Hogan started as a private Catholic school and then became the Catholic school closed in '98, and we became a charter school in 1999. So we are one of the, I think we are one of the oldest charter schools in Kansas City, and one of the largest, you know, being one of the few that have pre-K through 12. So that's what that slide's about. We serve our elementary serves grades K through 5, our middle school. We added a middle school in 2011. It serves grades 6 through 8. You can go on, that's fine. So, of course, we serve all kids in the Kansas City Public School boundary. And then do our pre-K at Operation Breakthrough. We transport our kids there. Most of them, a lot of them have siblings that also attend their after-school programming, so that works out really well. And that's just more about, we were one of the first, we were actually on the ground floor of the pre-K partnership that was funded by School Smart KC a couple of years ago. And so we were excited to be on the ground floor of that too, because we know how important early childhood education is and getting kids started off, you know, not behind. We want our pre-K kids to have high quality preschool education so they come into kindergarten prepared. And all of our post assessments from last year indicate that those kids really made great progress through the year, even though last year was our first year, and it was cut short, as everybody's school year was kind of cut short in March, but they still made great progress. Okay, but that's just, you know, going on to tell you the importance of early childhood education. They're less likely to be kids who receive high quality education are less likely to be placed in special education programs, less likely to be retained or held back a grade, and more likely to graduate from high school than their peers who didn't attend early childhood programming. So at the elementary, in terms of this personalized learning, at the elementary level, it is an exploration. There'll be lots of exploration opportunities, and what that looks like is guest speakers, career-oriented field trips, you know, an interest inventory to kind of start to identify where kids' interests and their passions are. I think that's in our mission statement. We recognize how important that passion is in terms of kids being motivated to learn. So we also, I wanted to take note of this groundwork in social emotional life skills. We have made it an emphasis to put more staffing dollars into our social emotional programming. So we're adding counselors, social workers at each of our buildings for next year. So when I get ready to tell you about the openings at Hogan, you will notice that there are 2 counseling openings, I think one at the elementary, one at the middle school. And so that we've done a lot this year in preparation for increasing that social and emotional support, because we know that our kids need that to be successful. Middle school, I guess middle school's going to be an exploration. Maybe it was, I'm sorry, I think I said elementary was exploration. Maybe that was introduction, middle school exploration. The next slide should tell you more about what that's going to be about. Job shadowing. Students 6 through 8 will get opportunities for mock interviews to start really helping students make that connection of what skills are necessary for me to be employable. They're going to graduate from middle school onto high school with strong social emotional life skills. We all know of people that are very good at their job, but sometimes they're not successful because they don't have those social emotional skills. And sometimes that gets in the way of their success. Making sure by middle school that they are on track academically, and that they get some practical explorations of things that they're passionate about and interested in. The next, high school, we're going to be preparing them for either college or career. So again, we are going to make sure that our high school students have a vision of their future plan. And that can include, depending on which path they decide they want to take, either college, they'll graduate with college credit hours. We will be working, we've been working on partnerships so our high school kids can begin to have internships and work in real world work experiences, entrepreneurial experiences, and again, this is mentioned, I think, in our mission statement about making sure our students are prepared and that they graduate with a distinct competitive advantage. So we know that that is important. If you know much about Hogan, we have been known for our athletics, but our academics began to suffer a few years back. And so we recognize the need for, okay, why are we here? We're here to provide our kids with, to make sure they have a great education and that they graduate with all the skills that they need to be successful. So we have really taken a more emphasis at the academics that kind of took a back seat, I'm sad to say, for a few years.
Yeah, I'm glad that you named that and I'm really impressed by, like, you know, the school and kind of how the model goes from beginning to end, right? This next part is kind of about why should someone watching who's looking for their opportunities for next year and beyond consider teaching at Hogan?
Yes, well, I think, you know, I think it's an exciting time to be part of Hogan with all of these new initiatives and supports. Along with that, we've been fortunate to have partnered with some different foundations that have provided us with some extra funding so that we can make sure that this vision that we have gets off the ground and is successful. So I think it's an exciting time. Our leaders are inspiring. So that's one reason to come to work at Hogan. Another reason is, I mean, Hogan, we want to serve our community and all of our community. And so we have made sure, one question I always get being in HR is, you know, what kind of support do you have for teachers? And we have instructional coaches, 2 instructional coaches at every building. And so they do a lot of work with our beginning teachers, but they also provide a lot of coaching and help with lesson development and design with all our staff through, and they're part of our professional learning communities on a weekly basis. So there is a lot of support for teachers. What we have found out is that, or realized that, you know, with this, there's a national teacher shortage everywhere. So we've finally came to the conclusion that to make the kind of progress we want to make and to achieve our vision and our goals, we have got to stop turning over staff and start, you know, putting our energies into developing the staff that we have and making sure that they get, you know, the support they need to be successful. Because every time a staff member goes out the door, there's a whole, you know, there's a lot of hours and a lot of training, financial, you know, that goes out the door with them, you know, the training that you've invested in and so on. So we have really taken note of that and begin to prioritize listening to our staff more, to what the things that are important to them. I personally held a couple of job satisfaction meetings at each of the buildings this year, just trying to make sure that not only are our teachers, our staff, it's not just teachers, all of our staff are critical to the success of Hogan. Listening to, you know, what makes their job satisfying, but also what else we can do to help support them to be the best they can be, because that's what our students I have to have.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like perhaps you all also have a new building.
We do. That's one of the things we're excited about, that we've received funding for. I should mention that Hogan, we just received this word this week that our charter had been renewed, was renewed at DESE. So that was exciting. You're always nervous about that. You know, a lot of work goes into preparing for that presentation and all that. And, you know, that they asked a lot of tough questions because of, you know, the past that I told you about. Our scores were not that good, but I think the plans that we have for the future convinced them that we were worth renewing our charter, and we've convinced investors as well, and part of the of those foundations in the community to help support us. So one of the things we're getting is a new high school on the same location as our current high school. And so that should be open. We will begin breaking ground on that this fall, and it should be open the fall of 22. Eventually, we are going to we will move to 2 campuses and move that building will include 7th and 8th as well, and then we'll have 6th grade part of our elementary. But for fall of 2022, it will house grades 9 through 12, as well as our district offices.
Well, you know, renewals and new and all of that means new job opportunities, right? And
yes.
So it sounds like you all have quite a bit of openings. You want to tell us a little bit about kind of where your highest needs are right now?
We do. You know, I was thinking when I was writing these down to prepare to tell you about them, I thought, my gosh, I didn't think we had many openings, because most of our teachers have signed their contracts and are coming back, but we are adding, we're adding several positions in the social emotional area. But let me just tell you a bit about where our openings are, and to let your community know that if you're interested in applying for a position, of course, you go to Hogan's website, and it'll list all of the career opportunities, and that's where you apply. But in terms of teachers, like everybody else, we're looking for science, middle school science, and special ed. We're adding gifted. That's another thing I forgot to mention. We're adding a gifted teacher at the elementary, because we want to make sure we're supporting all of our students, and that population of students, we felt like we have been shortchanging a little bit. So we're going to add a gifted teacher at the elementary. High school math and science are always our high need area, but we also have a middle school ELA opening as well. A new position at Hogan High School is a digital graphic arts position. So it's not just your normal traditional, art class, painting, ceramics, whatever, but this is more of a digital, it's called digital graphics arts. So it will involve, someone that has kind of that experience with computers and that kind of thing. And we also have a high school business and personal finance position open. In terms of paras, we have a special ed para, we have a special ed program, and we have a special ed para position open right now, and a recovery room position at the middle school. Some of the other openings that are more in, a lot of these are in leadership positions would be, we have an elementary assistant principal position opening. I just got word this morning, our special ed director is leaving to go to another school. So we have that important position open. And luckily our current special ed director's done a great job of making sure everything's in good order for us with Desi. And then we have a special education process coordinator. I mentioned a couple of counseling positions. I said elementary and middle, that's actually elementary and high school, I guess. So that would be it.
Yeah, you all have a lot going on over at Hogan. I mean, a lot of innovation and great new things and openings. That's awesome. I'm glad you were able to be here with us today to share those with us.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here also. And I did want to mention that at our elementary school, our principal and our one of our front office administrative assistants are bilingual. So we are able, we are interested in recruiting students and families that might need that extra support and service as well.
Oh wow, that's really, really good to know. I didn't realize that. I'm glad that you mentioned that. Well,
yes.
Dr. Shippy, any final thoughts or things that you would like to leave our community with?
Just that, you had asked a question about, what kind of educators we're looking for or something to that effect. And I just wanted your community to know that what we are seeking are educators that are open to learning themselves and are able to think in a new way, because what this pandemic has taught us is that there are other ways to do education, and some of that was lacking. Some of our kids absolutely need in person, but some of our kids actually thrived in that virtual setting. So I think what we're looking for are staff and educators that are able to think in new ways and not just tied to tradition, because we are kind of breaking them, we're breaking away from a lot of traditional models of education. And so anyway, but it's going to be hard work. So we are seeking hard workers in this business.
Yeah.
That is absolutely essential, that you have staff that are used to hard work and don't mind working hard, because that's what it requires. And just a good attitude and a heart for children, always putting kids first.
Yeah, we love that. We love to hear about student-centered institutions, right? And places of of learning. Dr. Shippy, thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. LEC community, know that I have placed in the comments the link to Hogan's website, so that if Dr. Shippy and Hogan seems like it might be a good fit for you, head over to the website I placed in the comments. Dr. Shippy, thank you for spending some time with us this afternoon. Let's stay in touch. We'll see
All right.
that we can fill in those positions.
Oh, that'd be great. That would be great. Thank
All
you.
right.
It's been my pleasure.
Yes, thank
Bye-bye.
you. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, LEC community, you just heard from Dr. Shippy at Hogan. We hope that you have had a great day with us so far. We would love and welcome your feedback. leckc.org/survey. Let us know what we're doing well, what we could do better. We have come to our final slot of the day. We will be interviewing someone over at Kansas City Pre-K Cooperative, which is a unique organization for the event we had today, as they are not a school or a school system. They more so have connections amongst more than one pre-K institution and organization here in Kansas City, Missouri. So thank you. So join us here in about 5-ish minutes as we interview someone from Kansas City Pre-K Cooperative. We'll see you soon.